What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, those of you who are boxing fans that go back to the 80s and 90s will remember this man. He is probably the most well known boxing official in the history of the sport. Not the most accomplished, but his personality. He became the only boxing official I can think of that was his personality went past the sport into his own personal fame, and that would be Judge Mills Lane. He died today at the age of 85. He had been out of the limelight for a very long time. He suffered a devastating stroke back in 2002, which partially crippled him and left him unable to speak. But he survived for more than 20 years until he passed away today. And the stroke came out of the blue. It was a surprise because Judge Mills Lane was a workout nut. He was a guy that jogged every day. He was a military guy. He was able to keep up with fighters in the ring that were 30 to 40 years younger than him. So when he suffered that stroke back in 2002, it was really a surprise, and it came at the apex of his fame. But Judge Mills Lane was born in 1937 in Savannah, Georgia, and for a brief period of time, he was a boxer in his own right. He switched over and became a referee during the 1960s, and he refereed more than 100 world title fights. The final of these fights came in August of 1998. Although it wasn't the last fight that he would referee, it was the last title fight. I think the most infamous or famous fight that he refereed was the so-called bite fight back in June of 1997 when Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield's ear. That was the second fight that those two had. He was also the referee for the Fan Man fight, which was, I believe, the second fight between Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield when a man parachuted into the ring before being tangled in the lighting rig. And of course, that fight was very memorable as well, not just for the action in the ring, but as I just said, the action that came into the ring. And he was also the official, the third man in the ring in the fight when Oliver McCall suffered an actual live on-air nervous breakdown against Lennox Lewis in the ring. Started crying. He was known for his catchphrase before every fight, "Let's get it on." Whenever you saw Mills Lane, you know that he was a no-nonsense type dude. He didn't tolerate bullshit, and he would take a point from your ass for doing dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? And I noticed that he probably was one of the few officials that the boxers respected. You know what I'm saying? He was well liked. But anyway, he retired from refereeing, I think, in 1999. And that same year, he began serving as a judge on the television show Judge Mills Lane. He held real-life positions as Chief Deputy Sheriff of Investigative Services, District Attorney, and District Judge in Nevada's Washoe County. Lane's profile continued to be elevated when he was recreated in claymation form as the referee on MTV's Celebrity Deathmatch. That shit used to be funny as shit when I was younger watching that. And like I said, he was at the height of his fame when he suffered that devastating stroke back in March of 2002. And when they had a revival of the show, he gave his blessings to let the man who voiced another character on that show tried to imitate him. But Judge Mills Lane was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame back in 2013, and in the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame that same year. Like I said before, despite the fact that he was a workout nut, and despite the fact that he really he dieted, he exercised, he did everything he could to stay in great shape. He still suffered that big stroke, but he did survive 20 years after that stroke. But he's passed away at the age of 85. Tell me what you guys think. Rest in peace, the Mills Lane.